Welcome back, guys, and today we're doing a little something different than usual. We're doing a April reading wrap-up, and I know it was a little bit late in the month to do this. It's already like a whole week into May, but I ended up like beating my all-time record reading this month, and so this is not all the books I read. Most of them were actually from my library or on my Kindle, so yeah, I only have like 4 actually to show for it. The first book that I read this last month was Daughter of the Pirate King, which I think I rated 4 stars, something like that. I think I rated it 4 stars, and I absolutely loved it. It was a kind of like pirate type thing, and that I kind of have realized was a theme for this month's reading, was like pirates in the sea, because it's not usually the type of thing that I read, but evidently that's what I read a lot of this month. This is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. Next book I read this month was actually The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, which a lot of the ones I read at more of the beginning of this month were on my Kindle or at the library, so I don't have them with me right now. The plot twists, I was in absolute shock. If you like fantasy, you will love this. I do recommend reading the Cruel Prince series first, because it is about like characters who are like children in that book series, and this is about them like growing up and everything. So it's definitely a spin-off series of The Cruel Prince because it comes after that, but I really love it, and I cannot wait to read The Prisoner's Throne after this. The twists and everything, I just didn't see any of it coming, and it was so good. I definitely liked our 2 main characters, and I just ended up feeling so bad for the tragic backstories of some of these people, but this book will keep you on the edge of your seat, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is so good, and I like literally went into this book expecting to be bored, because I was like completely bored with the first Cruel Prince book until like the very end. But no, this one actually surprisingly kept my attention like the entire time, and good job, Holly Black. I ended up reading this book. It is The Lost Sisters by Holly Black. This is just a little novella, so it's only like 80 pages. It's about the main character, Jude, from the Cruel Prince series. It's about her sister pretty much like asking her for forgiveness for like being so mean and like siding with Locke and all that, and it's kind of her side of the story. I really liked it. Ended up giving this a 3-star also. I can see a trend of 3 stars going, but it's okay. This book was really cool, and I think you can only get it in ebook form, but I actually just borrowed this from Libby, and I ended up really liking it. I do wish it was a little longer, or if it was like an actual book, but it was honestly pretty good. And then I read The Naturals, which was a 5-star for sure, because literally, I love a good murder mystery, but I have never read a serial killer murder mystery. How had I not read one of these before? Also, Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Naturals, that's what book this is. I'm sorry, I forgot to say what it was. But it is absolutely so good. I could literally rant about this book forever. So many plot twists I didn't see coming. Like, oh my goodness, this book was so amazing. I absolutely loved our female main character. It so got into the mind of a serial killer, of the reasoning behind everything, what their thought process is. It made you really like, whoa. It was very, very cool, and I can't wait to finish this series. I think it's a 4-book series, I believe, and I'm so excited to finish it. And this was the first 5-star I had this month. The next book I read this month was actually also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It is the 2nd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy, and it was really good. Like, all the figuring out about, I don't really want to spoil it, because if you haven't read Inheritance Games, anything I say about this is going to spoil it. I rated this book 4 stars, and it was a bit slow at times, but I loved it, and I read this actually very spaced out. I read it in about like 13 days, but I was also reading other things at the same time. But The Naturals, on the other hand, I read that in like literally 1 day. It was so good, and I can actually see a blue theme with my books right now. Like, that's hilarious. But this was so cool, and I absolutely loved it. I love the mystery, the billionaire, all of those came together for an amazing book, and I absolutely loved it. And so good. I would definitely recommend this to anyone who loves a mystery, or like, this girl pretty much inherits $46 billion from a person she has never met, and she has no clue why, and she's trying to figure out why. And it's so good, and I definitely recommend it. Next up is Divine Rivals. I ended up rating this a 4.5 because I ended up getting really annoyed at some of the characters sometimes, but besides that, it was so good. I have a typewriter, and so I literally had to bring it out. I even like made a short about it. But Divine Rivals, it was really good. I loved it, and now I need the next one. I kind of hate her older brother from the ending, but that's okay. I ended up finishing this in about 3 days. It was so good. It's Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and it's pretty much about, like, there's this whole war going on, and then the main two characters, they go to be war correspondents, and like there's magical typewriters where they're sending each other letters, but they don't know it's each other, all of that, and it's so good. I would most definitely recommend it. I'm trying not to give away anything because I absolutely despise spoilers when I'm like, oh, I want to read that book, and then I just get the whole thing spoiled for me. So yeah, that's why I'm trying not to spoil anything right now. Not me just now realizing that part of my fairy lights aren't on. What happened? Well, I guess we're going half fairy lightless today because I don't know where it went. The next book I read was The Siren by Kiera Cass, which I actually rated 5 stars because it was such a cool twist on sirens. But this siren, I thought it was really cool. It's very confusing, but I love how it is explained and everything. Pretty much, it's about this girl. In the first chapter, she's on a ship and she is about to die, and she's like, I will do anything to survive. And pretty much then 4 sirens come up to her and they're like, you'll do anything? And she's like, yeah. So pretty much she agrees to be a siren for 100 years. She'll stay the same age, and once those 100 years are over, then she can go on living her life, but of course it'll be 100 years later, so no one she knows will even be alive. And it was really cool, and that is like how all the sirens got picked and everything. And like you saw, she did not like having to kill people and like all of that, because at one point they like bring like a wedding ship down, and just all of her emotional everything. It's just a good book. I don't really know how to describe it. This book was just so good, and like she ends up liking this dude, but then she can't like a dude because she's a siren. And they pretty much, if they say anything, if they make any like noise that comes out of their mouth, then instantly whoever heard it will just start trying to drown in the ocean. And so just think about that for a second. That is what she has to deal with. So she ends up having to act like she's mute whenever she's around people. So yeah, so good. 5 stars for sure. So oh yeah, the reason I rated it 5 stars was because it was a perfect mood read. I absolutely loved it. So good. The next book I read, I actually own right here, and that is Powerless. So, I know this is a very hyped book, and it did not let me down. It did not let me down at all. This is Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and so this was a originally independent published book, and I absolutely love it. Like, literally, I'm in the middle of reading the 3rd one right there. It's right up there, Fearless. I was not prepared for how good this book is gonna be. This is now my favorite book for sure. My favorite book this month, my favorite book of all time. So pretty much, it's pretty much like Red Queen, which I have 2 copies of Red Queen up there actually. But this is pretty much just like Red Queen in some ways, but also not in other ways. This is pretty much what I would say would be like a mix of like Shadow and Bone, Red Queen, and Hunger Games, and I honestly love all of those books. So this was the perfect book for me. I absolutely loved this book. I said I need a redemption arc now. I love this book so much, and I was like literally in shock all the time. I could not put this book down. Me and my friend actually buddy read it, and at first we were only doing, 3 chapters a day, and I read books a lot, so it was so hard to not read more than 3 chapters a day. But then I finally convinced her. I'm like, hey, can we do 5 chapters a day, because this is getting so good. And she agreed to that, but then she got busy again, so we had to go back down to 3 chapters. but it is so good, and I never annotate, but I actually did end up annotating some about it. But like, this is a thick book, but there was never a dull moment. I loved this book so much. I would recommend to literally anyone. This is the best YA book ever. So yeah, that's why it's a 5-star. Honestly, I didn't even put a 5-star. I put a 6-star because this is most definitely a 6-star book, and I cannot recommend this enough. You've probably read it. Most people have probably read it by now because it's such a popular book, but just read it. Just read it if you haven't. Just read it. Next book we have on that we read is Powerful. So I did get the special edition of Powerful. So it has the little sprayed edges, which I think is just so pretty. And so pretty much Powerful is about the best friend of the main character in Powerless. And I also ended up rating this book 5 stars, but be warned, you're gonna cry so much in this book because it is so sad. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but I'll refrain from any other spoilers because I'm trying not to spoil books for you. If you're looking at this for book recommendation, I'm trying not to spoil stuff for you because I get so annoyed at book spoilers. And this book was absolutely so good. It was actually really short. I honestly wished, oh my goodness, also look at this art in here. So pretty, and it was actually so good. This series, if you have not read it, literally, what are you doing with your life? Read it now, okay? The next book I read was Fable, which is pretty much like another pirate book, which is where I got my, literally, I read so many pirate books this month. But she is pretty much the daughter of a pirate, a person who has a bunch of ships under their control, pretty much. And her mom dies, but then her dad leaves her on this island. So throughout the entire book, she's trying to get back to her father to work for him. And along the way, she's making friends on this pirate ship and everything. And it is so good. But at the same time, I got bored. Like a lot with it. So I did end up rating it 4 stars. But now thinking about it, like right now, I think I would rate it like a 3 or a 3.5, but it was still really good, and I'm realizing how much I like pirate stories because this book was really good, and I cannot wait to read Namesake, which is the next book in this series, and just, whoa, it was such a good book. The next book I read, The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. So this is the same author as The Siren, and a Selection, which I also have up there. I have Selection and Elite up there, but this is The Betrothed, and pretty much this girl, she is about to become betrothed to the king, but she doesn't really like the king, and so, yeah. Pretty much that's it summed up without any spoilers. So this is The Betrothed by Kiera Cass, and it was really good. Beware, there is a sad ending. I think there might be another book in this series. I'm not really sure, but I don't know if I'll continue it because it was so sad and I'm not ready for another sad ending. I ended up rating this book 3 stars. The reason I rated it 3 stars was because it was a bit boring at times and I was sad. I listened to this as an audiobook and it was actually pretty good, but at the same time, I don't really like sad endings. I like happy endings. I like where books start off like underdog and end happy. So, yeah. But this was a 3 star for me. And then the next book I read was actually, I'm getting back in my Percy Jackson kick. So I read House of Hades. I did originally DNF this book last year in June of 2024 or 2023. I think it was 2024. But I finished it and I'm so glad I did because I was on such a cliffhanger. But I absolutely love this book. Percy and Annabeth are so cute, and I'm actually in the middle of The Blood of Olympus right now. And see, I'm literally almost done with this book. I'm so excited. And this book was so good, I ended up rating it. What did I rate it? I think I rated it 4.5. I rated it 4.5 because it was a bit annoying at times, and I did DNF it, so I did rate it 4.5, but that's after I DNF'd it, so we're gonna round down, oh my goodness, we're gonna round down to 4 because I did DNF it. And Percy Jackson, I cannot get over any Percy Jackson books. Like, yes, read this now. I do suggest if you're going to read Percy Jackson, read the original Percy Jackson and the Olympians first. And yes, next book, guys. On to the next book. Then I read, actually, my first ever arc. I read The Enemy's Daughter by Melissa Poet. So this book was about 2 warring clans, and pretty much there's a lot of betrayal, and you're trying to figure out who the actual bad guy is, because the main character, our main character, Izali, or how, I don't remember how to pronounce her name. It was an interesting name, but pretty much she gets captured by the opposite clan than the one she is in. She had always thought her clan was the innocent clan and that they were just the ones being attacked, but she was wrong, and all this stuff is going on, and you have this whole war between the clans going on. It's like a dystopian. I did get more fantasy vibes at the beginning, but it is such a cool book. It's actually May 7th right now, and this book just came out yesterday, and it is so good, and I could literally talk about books all day, but I need to hurry up because currently we already have 24 minutes of footage, and yeah, I've already been recording for 20 minutes and I don't want to run out of storage. So moving on to the next book we read Reckless. I cannot explain to you my love for this series. I cannot. I'm on the edge of my seat constantly, and once again, if you haven't read Powerless, I do not want to spoil things for you, but read it, okay? Read Powerless, read Powerful, and then read Reckless, and I promise you, you will not regret it. It is so good. I've only seen like a couple reviews on Goodreads where they're like, oh, I DNF'd it. I don't get why everyone says it. It's so good. I do get the whole, with the first book, with Powerless, it is very similar to Red Queen and Hunger Games, but Reckless, it kind of goes in its own direction and it becomes more unique, which I really like. And the ending, I will never get over that ending, the plot twist. That's why I'm literally reading Fearless, like I said earlier, because I cannot get over that ending. And once again, this entire series so far has been a 5-star series for me, so we'll see how Fearless is. Please, no spoilers in the comments, guys. No spoilers. I do not want any spoilers. And then, the last book I read this month was actually my first ever physical arc. This book does not come out till June 3rd, but this is Never Thought I'd End Up Here by Anne Lang. It was a really cute book. I'm actually currently editing a reading blog for this right now. This book is pretty much about this girl who's originally, her family's from China, but she ends up forgetting like all of her Mandarin, and then she messes up this thing she was saying at her cousin's wedding. The whole wedding gets messed up from there, and then she pretty much, her parents send her on this trip to relearn all her Mandarin, but then her academic rival is there, and so she is just having a hard time with that. But it's also cool to see how our main character Leah grows in this book and gets more comfortable with herself. And because she used to be a model, so she wore full face of makeup, high heels, everything. But I love how in this book, it's just her growing. Her growth in this book is so cool, and her becoming more comfortable with herself. And I would definitely recommend this pre-order because it comes out June 3rd. Also, can't believe I actually have a physical arc because literally I just reached 100 subscribers. That's crazy. But, so yes, this is actually the arc of it, and I finished this in like literally a day. I just sat down on my couch and read it in an entire day. I was in the middle of making a reading vlog when I was doing that, and I forgot to record any of me reading it, but that's okay. As of this version, it's like right over 300 pages, and it's really good, really feel-good contemporary fiction. I'm usually reading fantasy, as you can see by like literally all the other books I read, but this was such a nice book to just relax. I'm not worrying about, oh no, the main character is gonna die all the time, and it's not like a fighting to the death thing or anything like that, and I absolutely love this book. I rated this book 5 stars. It was such a cute little contemporary book, and I absolutely loved it, and I cannot wait to read the next Ann Lang book. I actually just borrowed a book, I Hope This Doesn't Find You, from the library, so I'm really excited for that. But that was my April reading wrap up, and in all I ended up reading 15 books, DNFing one, and I ended up rating them mostly, actually, like about half were 3 stars and about half were 5 stars. So I would say that's a pretty good month, and my goal this year is actually to read 100 books by the end of the month, because I've never kept track of what books I read before, but I'm actually doing that now in this book journal of mine. So like I have all the books I read in here, and so far I'm at, I think, 40 something, I think 43 or 44. I'm only supposed to read at least 8 books a month, but this month I doubled that and read 16, so I could literally not read it all this month and I'd still be on schedule. So these are all the books I read this month, along with all the ones on my Kindle, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any book recommendations you have for me based on my reading taste. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.